The boundary of Craig Mountain Wildlife Management Area can be easily defined as the Salmon River down to the confluence where the Salmon River enters the Snake River. From there, it follows the Snake River on the Idaho side almost to Lewiston, about 10 miles south of Lewiston. From there, the boundary will travel to the east and encompasses everything that's on top of Craig Mountain itself, hence the name Craig Mountain Wildlife Management Area. That boundary comes all the way over to the Deer Creek and the Maloney Creek drainages that come back into the Salmon River. That area, that footprint, is approximately 150,000 acres. That is what defines and makes the bulk of what is the Craig Mountain Wildlife Management Area. Prior to the 1970s, Craig Mountain was primarily driven by a cattle and sheep ranching industry on the Hells Canyon rangeland areas, and then it was a very heavily forested timbered landscape that was logged for generations prior to the very first purchase that Fish and Game made, which was the Billy Creek Ranch in 1971. And from there, the department also made a series of purchases up to 2014 on the Snake River side, totaling about 20,000 acres. The rest of the acreage that Idaho Department of Fish and Game manages came from the acquisition of the Howard Ranch, known as the Peter T. Mitigation, which was about 60,000 acres. Dorshack Reservoir, just outside of Orofino, was a project implemented by Bonneville Power Administration to generate energy. When that reservoir was built, it filled up and inundated a huge swath on the North Fork of the Clearwater River. From that, we actually had a significant loss of wildlife habitat. And so because of that, Bonneville Power Administration entered into an agreement with Nez Perce Tribe and Idaho Department of Fish and Game to mitigate for the losses of that habitat. For Idaho Department of Fish and Game, it came in the form of a land acquisition on Craig Mountain, just south of Lewiston. That mitigation property stretches from the Salmon River, Canyon Rangelands, all the way on top, and includes a lot of forested parcels as well. And so in total, the department owns and manages approximately 85,000, 88,000 acres on top of Craig Mountain Wildlife Management Area. But it's also important to note that we're not the only landowner on Craig Mountain. There's actually multiple different landowners. You have Idaho Department of Lands, Bureau of Land Management, Nez Perce Tribe, the Nature Conservancy, United States Forest Service, and then of course you also have private landowners and ranches that still operate today on Craig Mountain. We have various missions and objectives in our different agencies, but we still all have a very common goal and objective: to manage the WMA as a whole. We manage for a whole range of wildlife species and their habitats on Craig Mountain as part of that agreement with Bonneville Power Administration. We use the Craig Mountain Wildlife Management Area Plan to help drive management decisions and provide direction for how we manage the species that are part of Craig Mountain Wildlife Management Area and their habitats. It's a really well thought out plan that talks about our management objectives: noxious weeds, forestry management. We also actually engage the public to create a public user survey to understand the public needs and their desires for how we should manage. That document, which is available on our website, is the primary document that helps us move forward when we are looking at projects and implementing projects that are supposed to benefit not only the resource, but for the public. And that ties in directly for the department's mission to manage for animals and their habitats. That includes elk, it includes mule deer, it includes pileated woodpeckers, black-capped chickadees, it includes river otters. There's a whole list of species that we felt needed to be mitigated for because of the loss of habitat on Dorshack. That's a big part of what we do. Craig Mountain Wildlife Management Area offers a diversity of opportunities for the general public. Every project we implement, we try to take those items into account to ensure that we're providing the best public service and creating the best experience we can on Craig Mountain.